Good.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another special episode of Simply Awesome Podcast. This week we have a second time guest. Originally from the first time we had Willie, and this is Tima, second half.
Hey, everybody.
Yep. My have things have changed from the podcast from the last time.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you have video.
Yes, yes, yes.
Video. And in case you guys are wondering about the last episode, from you. If you guys want to get the origin of the first interview that I had with Tima Willie. And anywho, thank you for bringing a part of this week's episode.
Yes,
And
thank
we just want to invite you, to chop it up with us and to just answer a few questions within, a health field world. So, how are you
Mm,
feeling?
I'm all right. I'm a little sleepy.
A little
you.
sleepy?
Okay.
Yeah,
What happened to Willie? Willie's incapacitated.
incapacitated.
All right. Well, Tika, would you like to introduce yourself again to the people that don't know you and maybe give out your socials or any way that people can reach you?
Yeah, sure. I'm Fatima. I am a longtime friend of Royal, sister to Aleem, second time
Right.
on Simply Awesome podcast. I work in a healthcare field as an RN. And I have a couple of businesses that I'm trying to start up, like a greeting card company, and I will probably come back on here and to promote that soon. It's still in the dream phase. Otherwise, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tika Teams. That's TIKATEAMS. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
All right. Before we keep on getting into anything else, hey, Royal,
Yes.
the last time ever saying, and my co-host Link, no,
No,
you,
no, no. Yeah,
you
and
the
my
co-host.
look, we're co-hosts together.
No, you the
Co
You're a
co-host.
host and I'm a
hosts.
host. We co-host together,
I'm the
sir.
host. You the co-host. Nigga.
Whatever,
I got the
whatever.
residuals.
For everybody that's seeing
Yeah,
this,
man.
I don't care right now because I have technical difficulties. I'll be back on the video soon.
Nah. I had to pull the plug on real quick. You feel me? He was going to get out of character the past few
Plug.
weeks. Had to pull the
yeah,
plug.
I
Got
blame
him
you.
ran
It's
him
on
in.
leave for. It's on leave
Don't
for.
worry. Don't worry. It's just a 1 week suspension. He'll be back. He'll be back next week.
That's timeout.
All right,
Time
okay.
out.
All right, let's get into it. The first thing we want to go into is RP to two legends that passed this week. We have a legend in sports, an icon, Hank Aaron, and we also have a
Thinking, right? Yep.
legend in the news media, Larry King, who's also passed this week. Your thoughts and opinions?
Yeah. Oh, so sad to hear about Larry King. I knew that he had COVID. I guess
Hmm.
he must have been battling that for the last couple of weeks, and
Yes.
I worried about him because he was kind of up in age. He is an absolute icon, and I just cannot believe that he's actually gone.
Yeah, Larry King, definitely known for all his tremendous interviews. You know what I'm saying? Crossing different people walks of life, especially in the black community. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? LGBT community. Just overseas and stuff like that. So like, uh, for him to pass, and by the way, just all the regimes that you've been seeing within politics and within the news world. You know what I'm saying? In
Yeah.
society, like this man has been a
Get through it
tremendous
all.
uh, a tremendous staple within society. So, man, it
Yeah.
was a big deal, to say
Larry
the least.
King was a true icon, legend in his field. He had so many legendary interviews; it was ridiculous. And he interviewed everybody. Of course, everyone has their bias, but he tried to keep it out as best he could. Sometimes he couldn't, but most times he kept his bias to the side, left it at home. Like you're supposed to was a good journalist. He was a great
Hmm.
example for anyone that's up and coming in the news game or the media game of an old school giant that wasn't afraid to go new school, wasn't afraid to try new things and innovate and keep up with the times and everything went on because he went from the print to the video media to audio and everything up to now, the podcast,
Hmm.
everything. It's crazy to see how much
He was really
and everything
adaptable.
changed.
He adapted with every change of media. He was able to adapt.
Yeah,
That's
he was
hard for a
definitely
lot of
wrong.
people, but that was great to see him do that.
He was wrong with the punches, man. Especially just think about it. He's working pretty much fucking every day.
That's true. That's true. Also, R.P. Hank Aaron, a legend in his own right, a pioneer, someone that did great things for the black community and the baseball in general. All around
Yeah, man,
humanitarian.
he's the original home run king. So Barry
Yeah.
Bonds broke it, but I mean, he held that record for many of years, man. Nobody thought he would ever break it. I mean, he's part of the color, breaking the color barrier. He's definitely somebody that young black athletes had somebody to look up to, especially in the baseball world. You know, it was
Mhm.
tremendous to have a black face known for hitting home runs like that. You know, what I'm saying I think he really elevated more uh, people of melanin color decide to play baseball.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything to add to this, Fatima, or would you like to step to
No,
the next subject?
nothing
Okay.
to add.
Okay.
I think you
Okay.
guys said it all.
All right.
No
Let's
problem.
go to the big news this week. We had President Joe Biden elected. He's officially in office. We had the
Yep.
inauguration go by. Everything that went along with that. Let's go. Let's go from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so we have a officially new president and new vice president, a woman of color. Inauguration went on. It seemed
A
like without
black
a hitch.
woman.
I don't know. I'm still confused as to how she identifies, but woman of color at the very least, and a woman, which is humongous.
Yeah,
Like
humongous.
that. Honestly, I feel like that even overshadows Joe Biden.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
We have never had a woman vice president, much less
A woman of color.
a woman of color. Is like, wow, we just like jumped. So that's pretty amazing.
Hmm.
The inauguration was had definitely a different tone, in my opinion,
Yeah.
than even last year. Last year, of course, was I mean the last inauguration for
Last time.
Trump was a weird tone too, but this is like I feel like it was even stranger. And I don't know if I'm the only person who felt like that. It felt like Hunger Games to me.
It was very tense and very anxious. Very anxious. Um, inauguration. I was scared that something might happen, like even more
Yeah,
than in
absolutely.
the past. Not as much as when President Obama got elected, but it was close behind. It was close behind that for my
I mean,
anxiety of what was going to happen.
and I think that part of that anxiety is, I mean, look at all the military presence that was there.
Yeah,
Military presence. Then we have all, everything with the mask. Like it just was very strange.
very yes, very strange.
Yeah, especially being COVID. Uh, I think we're just more anxious just to get the previous regime out of office. You know, what I'm saying have that change of the guard, and
Mm.
but yeah, definitely there's a heavy military presence there.
Yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
unique,
I
but
don't
I'm
blame
just
them.
I don't blame them.
I
I'm
wasn't
just
either.
glad
Yeah, I
that
don't
we
blame them because
finally
what
got the
happened the week
transition
before.
going through. Uh, Also, do you see the Obamas? They look good.
Oh,
Yeah,
they look amazing. Michelle looked
Michelle
amazing.
Obama killed that
Yeah,
shit.
Michelle,
Stole the
she
show. Stole the show.
yeah,
Yes,
she definitely did.
that and the Bernie memes. Oh my god, hilarious.
Oh my god. The
Uh,
Bernie
that,
memes is going down in
that
history.
one
Like,
is legendary. Those Burning memes are definitely legendary.
This is why he put Michelle Obama with a lightsaber talking about we taking over the daggone empire right now. I'm like, yo, he's crazy.
mm.
That, that,
They,
that was a good little laugh. But yeah, that was great. That was
Yeah.
great.
Okay. So going forward, what do you think this transition of power really means? Where do we go forward from now? What do you think? Too?
this transition of power, they got a lot of rebuilding to do. They have a lot of rebuilding of trust for the people. We have to prove that this country, or rather, because I don't know if we can prove that this country isn't racist, because the country is. We have to figure out a way to get rid of the racists. They have to show us that that they're not going to stand for that, because everything has come boiled over to a head over the last 4 years. I feel like 8. I feel like he was in there for 2 terms, but over the
Thank
last
God,
four
Lord,
years,
one.
everything has boiled over. Thank God, yeah, it was only 1 term, but it feels like a long time.
Yeah,
And a lot of people are feeling oppressed, so they have a lot to prove that that they can make this America better than it ever was. Not great again, better than it ever has been.
Yeah, I definitely think that we got to tackle the COVID issue. That's number one. Then we got to get to the economics part of it. Uh, Definitely, these next few weeks are definitely pivotal. I think for establishing that change and establishing that sense of hey, the things about to be different from what we previously have, and get back that that status of being like a country that's being revered rather than laughed at. So I think that's the biggest thing right now these next few weeks as far as making a big impact in the transition. What say you, Royal?
like you guys said, we have a lot of restructuring to do, a lot of growth to do. We have to put a lot of things in place right now to actually get the country back to where we need to be at, because a lot of things were taken away and destroyed by the last president. And hopefully, this current president can get some things right on track. Like, go to our next point. The president actually signed a couple of executive orders. One that revoked the Muslim travel ban.
That's
Another that
good.
made it mandatory to wear a mask in all federal buildings, also on
Mhm.
planes and in airports. He put a freeze on student loans, the freeze on those student loans until September
Yes,
30th. So if your loans froze last year, that still stay frozen until the 30th of this September. That doesn't
Mhm.
mean that you shouldn't save the money up that you were going to pay towards that. You should still save that money up, put it aside, because you still have to pay that. And then you don't have to pay it right now. Those payments are still due. If you owe that money will become due eventually. So don't just spend that money like, oh, I got the extra money. No, put that to the side, leave it alone, so that when it does come due, you don't say, oh, I got no money right now, I can't pay it. No, you had the money set aside because that's what you was already going to pay.
But there is no money right now. People aren't
Right.
working.
I know. I'm saying for the people that are working and did have it, just because the
Yeah.
stuff is froze, you will have to pay that back. And I won't hear, oh, I got no money. You're working all that time and they weren't taking it. So set that amount on the side. If you are working, it should be in your budget because you will have to pay that eventually.
Well, I wonder what the proposal will be for those Americans that are not working. The restaurant industry has been completely crippled
Yeah,
by this pandemic. Like, restaurants are closing.
yeah, we don't know what's going on with that. We have to see. That's a tricky subject right there because it's a state by state basis. It's not like
Right.
you can federally do it, but
No.
because all restaurants they're private entities that are owned by persons
Mhm.
or corporations
A
in
lot of
each state
businesses
or
are
whatever.
closing.
So it's a whole thing.
Mhm.
A lot of
Also
businesses are
there is
closing. A lot of entertainers aren't, what I'm saying, come up with funds. They're not touring. A lot
The
of
economy is
venues.
going to crap right now.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a shit show. Um, and not only that, I might be jumping ahead a little bit. Well, not really, but there's another strain of COVID. So the vaccines that we got right now is not even.
Yeah,
Well, we don't
you
even
Well,
know
it's
where we're working
debatable.
in the
We
first
don't know
place. But I
yet.
mean, like,
We
you
don't
did
know.
jump in a little bit.
but like,
That's okay. We can get to that in a second. Let me finish this out real quick. There's a moratorium on evictions until the end of January. That was signed by the president. There's also been a COVID task force created, which was a disaster relief task force that was available underneath President Obama, underneath President Trump, that was taken away. So now there's a new task force. Hopefully, it's back to what it was. It's former Obama glory, not just a COVID task force, but an actual federal relief task force overall to
Mhm.
coordinate these agencies. There's also been a push for more COVID vaccines and actually a push for it to get pushed through the states faster because there are shortages in certain places. Like we said last week, there were counties here that didn't have it or ran through their supplies, so they bought from other counties, and people were trying to buy it straight from Pfizer, Moderna, things like that.
Mhm.
Um,
Black marketing it, stealing
in
them.
the black market, all that. We can jump to the next subject, which is actually a lot of COVID related things.
Okay.
yeah. And I want to ask
Um,
Tima a few
but go
few
ahead.
questions too.
Go ahead.
So in comparison to last year with the COVID-19 pandemic, how have things changed, or have things stayed the same from what we previously spoke on?
I would say that, we had a period where cases had died down and then they came back up. It's more or less the same thing. The only big difference is, I think, with the rolling out of the vaccine, we have a lot more optimism in the hospitals.
Mhm.
Whereas we didn't have that before. It was kind of like a free for all frenzy. Like, what are we going to do? We have our frontline workers, which I'm one of those, that are constantly putting our lives on the line, by being exposed to this virus day in and day out. Um, as far as hospitalizations, I think when I originally, it was like heavy, 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 died down. Now it's kind of creeping. It's creeped back up a little bit. Yeah.
So, question. So, have you seen any abnormal symptoms, or does people just have like typically the same symptoms when they have COVID, or like even no symptoms, or like have like the same diagnosis as far as like breathing,
Um,
fatigue and stuff like that?
the major symptom that we see is always like where you actually have to be hospitalized is trouble breathing. You have respiratory issues. That's like the big hallmark. However, COVID can give you a host of symptoms. Any symptom that you can think of that is not of your daily functioning, COVID can bring that out of you. I mean, headache, fatigue, shortness of breath, chest pain, like rashes, loss of taste or smell, congestion, sinus infection, like you name it, you
Yeah,
can get it.
there was something
Um,
diarrhea with it or something like that. I was like, that's wild ass shit.
what did you say, Ryan?
I was reading about it in California where people get diarrhea. Diarrhea was a symptom of
Okay.
people in California.
Yep, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. Like it is literally a laundry list of like anything. Like it can cause your blood sugar to go up. It can cause you to get blood clots, pneumonia, like anything, anything and everything under the sun. It's been my experience of seeing. Um, but the hallmark, the big issue is not being able to breathe and maintain your oxygen saturations of like above 90%. If you're not able to do that, then that's typically when we see you in the hospital.
Okay, okay.
Any questions you got for Rue?
No, not for her exactly right now. I might come back to it later, but I'm gonna get some more COVID related things right now, just to see what her opinion, what y'all opinion are of them.
Oh, go ahead.
Um, Dave Chappelle has COVID-19.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's some crazy news. I guess he wasn't being safe like he was supposed to or whatever, but
Right.
that's on him.
Well,
Not
it's kind
surprised.
of crazy. He was actually taking all the necessary precautions
You think
as
so though?
far
I
as
well,
like
think it's
obviously
as
sad.
far
not,
as
cause
events. He was testing the people before they come to shows.
but
I mean, he was getting tested regularly, during the shows. I mean,
yeah,
but I
but
mean,
he
at the
wasn't
same
doing
time, you
certain
never
stuff.
know.
He was out and about with people like all the time. Like you can't just be doing it. You have to actually stay.
That is true.
You can't just be out and about like that all the time. Of course, you have to live your life, but you gotta stay as isolated as you can when you need to be.
But then the other issue is like people I hear even patients say like, how did this happen? Like I took all the precautions, I did everything right. Um, but it also becomes difficult when you have other people in the household
Yep,
as well.
very true.
You can't control everything that another person does, and then you have asymptomatic spread as well.
Yep, yep, yep.
So it's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well,
I hope she get better. You know what
hopefully he
I'm
makes
saying?
it through. Hopefully he makes
Yeah,
it through.
Yeah, because a lot of things, people forget. Like somebody got COVID, like all right, a few weeks they'll be better, but some people don't make it.
Yes, people don't make it, man.
So
Hopefully he pulls through, man. Hopefully he
so
pulls through.
hopefully he pulls through.
I know three people that actually. actually caught COVID and pulled through. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
But yes, it's wow. Hong Kong has locked down thousands of people to try to stop the super spread of COVID.
Lock it down. That's what they should do. That's what they
Mhm.
need to do other places.
Like they had that because they said it was surging so high. You're like everybody locked there, ain't no nothing. Like y'all standing in y'all fucking houses. You ain't going nowhere.
Hmm.
That's what they need to do because they're like, we're not gonna have a second and third wave of this shit.
Right.
We're not gonna have people dying in mass like the US. Like we're gonna stop this shit as soon as we can. And that's what they're doing.
So they're doing like a
Right.
definite.
Yeah, they said, yeah, fuck y'all rights to your lockdown.
Fuck your rights.
Fuck y'all right.
Y'all gotta remember that is China.
Shit, that sounds like
Yeah.
Trump.
They said, look, we not as bad as everybody else, but yeah, we want to live. We trying to stay alive over this bitch. Y'all
Right.
want to say lockdown.
That's dope.
They are passing out more, like I said, more vaccines. They're trying to get the one dose vaccine passed through the FDA now because the two that are out now from Pfizer and Moderna are two doses where you have to go
Hmm.
get one and get another one. They're trying to pass the one dose one now. There are questions about why they will work with the two or three new strains that they have out there. Now we don't know. Like I said, we don't know. We only know that it works possibly on the first strain we know of, but not these other ones that are coming out now. And we don't know
All right.
because there's not enough time to actually test these things.
Yeah. We just, it's like, it sucks because we need time to evaluate everything, and time is really not on our side.
Nope.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like uh actually Royal can you talk more about the super COVID the new strand?
Well, there are a couple of strands. There's a strand in the UK that was found in America also. There's a separate strand that was in Colorado and California that's different from the UK strand.
Mm.
And we don't know. There may be another one they found. I'm not sure. I know there are at least two different strands from the one we know of. There may be a third, but that's not confirmed yet. And one of them, the person didn't even leave. Like allegedly, they didn't leave. They didn't fly out of the country. They didn't leave their state. They were in state. They caught this new strain of Colorado or the one in California. I don't know how they got that one.
Mm.
We learned like we don't know how this. There's not enough evidence or not enough ways for us to test these things or have empirical proof because we just found out about this one like what a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's like there's not enough case studies or anything for anybody to say, okay, we know the direct path from this to this, and how the strain mutated. We don't know anything. We barely know how people are getting
Right.
it.
As a
Like they had a whole thing where I want to say it was in overseas where a whole building got it because it was going through their ventilation system from the toilets and shit.
Mhm.
Like it was going through the toilet system and going through the vents and a whole building got affected because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so you think you're safe in your house and you I'm like, no, everything connected together.
Yeah.
You fuck. You can't even if you isolated, you still fuck. Like we literally don't know how any of this works. So only time will tell how any of this is gonna work out. Stay safe. Do what you gotta do, man. Cause this is a cold world out here. Nobody care if you live or die, but you.
Take as many precautions as you can.
Yeah, it makes it
I
scary
can say.
to whoever saying about taking the vaccinations from that standpoint. Uh, there's a lot that we don't know as far as new strand. Well,
Oh,
if there is a new, since there is a new strand, like as far as vaccination is not even working. But I mean, not
yeah,
saying that, not saying that if you don't take them, they might help as far as like just in general, because I'm pretty sure that strand of COVID is not the same as the original strand of COVID. So at least you got some type of form of protection if you do take it. But same by the time we don't know the lasting effects of other vaccinations, and with the new strands, those vaccinations won't help to fight off the new COVID. It's we're definitely in a tumultuous times, as I always say.
Hmm.
But again, I guess it goes down to saying we gotta protect each other, saying social distance, wash your hands, wear your mask. You're saying take precautionary measures because right now it's things are looking very murky to say the least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be alarmist or anything, but I'm just seeing an article right now that I had to bring up because it's on point.
Hmm?
There was a Placer County Sheriff's Office. They put out an announcement because an individual died on the 21st at several hours after taking the vaccine. We don't know when they took the vaccine, which version of it they took, or if that had anything to do with it. But this person died after taking a form of the vaccine. Again, it's too early to
Mhm.
tell anything because they don't have it in all the courses, but that's just something that's popped up just now. So, want to get
Wow.
it. Hey, y'all thoughts on it?
What's your take on it, Tim, as far as taking the vaccinations?
The healthcare professional in me says go ahead and take the vaccine. The skeptic in me says that me personally, I don't know enough about the technology for this particular vaccine. I don't think that we have had enough time to study the vaccine's efficacy and its long-term effects. But people have to weigh, you know, do I want long-term effects from COVID, which are also unknown, um, or long-term effects from vaccine, weigh that against the protection, the potential protection of the vaccine. But now we have a monkey wrench, additional monkey wrench in the plan with the different variations of the COVID virus. So it's so hard to kind of make a decision. I think everybody has to make the decision for themselves. What are you willing to put out with? What is the most important in your life? I think that the more people with traditional vaccination, the more people that are vaccinated, the more likely we can eliminate the virus. My problem as far as what I know about the vaccine is that there's no part of the actual virus in the vaccine. It's just messenger RNA that kind of gives a code to your cells of what to look out for, a certain spike protein that it's looking for if the virus enters the body. But it helps to alleviate or to make it so that you don't have symptoms. It doesn't necessarily stop you from actually still getting the virus and spreading it to others, which is what my problem is we can't stop the spread. It doesn't sound like we can stop the spread with this current vaccine. It sounds like you can stop the symptoms, which is good because we don't want people to become symptomatic and have the issue with breathing and being hospitalized and perish. We don't want that, but we also want to get rid of the virus. How do we get rid of the virus? That's like my biggest thing.
At some point in time, I think the government, um, the management in the healthcare field, and the frontline workers all have to have a big meeting conversation and come to some type of understanding as far as how to go about the situation because definitely it's a slippery slope as far as the frontline workers as far as like, hey, we want to help people, but we also don't want to be in a position where we have to compromise, ourselves,
Right.
at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
Especially with the unknown of the vaccines. Especially with the unknown of me just working day in day out with people
right.
with a whole bunch of different
So we're getting
systems
it from both
and
sides.
hmm?
Right. We're getting it from both sides because, I mean, right now the vaccine is not mandatory um, for hospital workers, but it's like it is. We're getting it from both sides. It's like, okay, Dag, I would like something to help protect me. Yes. But will it hurt me in the long run? But it's really, really uh, hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, then we gotta think of like hazard pay. We gotta think about um, you know, just different odds and ends as far as like combating this issue because it's definitely at the forefront. No, there's no getting around
Yeah.
that. And I think conversation has to be made as far as like the government interfering, as far as like eventually imposing their will and saying like you guys have to take the vaccination because that's only going to be the next step. And I think that they have to take a day by day, week by week approach and
Yeah.
keep you guys in the loop because this is definitely a unfortunate, unfair situation that you're being placed upon.
All right,
Yeah.
it's a tough
I'm just
thing.
speaking for you. I don't want
It's
you to
it's
say anything crazy, but yeah, I think that meetings and conversations have to happen.
7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Okay.
All right. It's a personal thing. It's the dealing with the known knowns, the known unknowns, and unknown unknowns.
Hmm.
You know what the virus could potentially do to you if you don't do anything. You know the possible side effects of the vaccine that will give it to you, and you know what your life will be if you choose the route of not taking the vaccine. What
Hmm.
we don't know is the long term effects of the vaccine or long term effects of the with the post COVID because people that have survived COVID and made it out of the ICU and living there have breathing problems, respiratory problems, have memory loss, they have they were saying something to do with your, attacking a part of your brain or something. Like
Mm.
it's really unknown what these long term effects of surviving COVID are.
Right.
Vaccines are years and years, 5 to 10 years to actually come out. Where they do actual analytical study of it, have peer reviews and everything like that. Where it's like, all right, they have it's a lengthy process.
It is.
But this was a 1 year rush job that we don't know anything about this. And again, we haven't come up with a vaccine for common cold. Like flu season, that's like think about it with the flu. The flu get a flu shot or whatever, but that's last year's flu, not the version that's out now.
Right.
And it's constantly evolving, so we're never going to catch up because it's something new all the time. They can
Hmm.
help you lessen your symptoms if you catch the flu, but you still gonna catch the flu. Well, you got the
Right.
vaccine or not. And I think that's what this vaccine is. What people are getting, people had to weigh how they think personally against what's the best option for them. And herd immunity does work. Like if lots of people get immunity,
Hmm.
it does work for everybody. I'm not saying, oh, don't get it. It's a personal choice for you, but I said we can help other people, and it's not going to
Absolutely.
impact their life severely. Again, we don't know whether it will or won't, but if you can think you can take the risk of it not interfering with your life at this moment, I say do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just try to get as much information as possible before making these
Yeah,
these will be
that's
long term
the big
decisions that you
thing.
make.
Make
Is
sure
just
that you're in.
make sure that you're informed.
All right.
How much time we
Let's
got left, bro?
we have 5 minutes. Let's do two more things and we can wrap it up. All right. Speaking on the riots from the last go round of the talks we had, they actually the FBI and such have actually caught some of the people on sending texts and stuff saying we spoke about them possibly attacking the senators, the Congress people while they were trying to get their safe spaces. And AOC said that she feared for her life and everything like that. But we have actual, well, FBI has released text allegedly that showing that people were like, okay, this is where they meet at. This is the time. This is the access code to get in. Kill their ass. Get them.
Oh shit.
That was sent from someone inside the building to outside
Wow.
sources that was attacking the Capitol. So that's not an undue threat. That was a very real fear, and that actually could have happened. That was compromised. Where the Congress was supposed to be safe in their bunkers, there wasn't.
Mm. Good
And
lord.
people were saying, "Oh no, it's fake. They're lying about this." No, it's a very real thing. It really did. People were almost taken out.
Yeah, it was like really serious.
They're like, nobody got access. Yes, they did. People were inside giving
Mm-mm.
information like, all right, this is where we're gonna be at. This is access code. Come on.
No, this is
Mm-mm.
damning information.
Very
They're
damning.
supposed to be like top flight security of the world. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if
You
you
would
Say the
got
think.
least, but
infiltrators on the inside, how you gonna stop that? You can't.
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 Just
That
like
I mean, that's a good point.
they caught
That's the Trojan
another
horse.
veteran. They caught another veteran that was caught in the attack. That was out planning. They caught another National Guardsman that was caught in the attack. Active duty and retired people that took an oath
Wow.
to protect this country actually going against it. So yeah, it's very very wild,
Treason.
very very wild. Yeah, so the people that were active, the people that were reservists and are actually active in the military, though they're going to get court martialed. The government got to deal with
Mhm.
them. They're going to get the military justice. Have fun with that.
Well, I guess
No,
that's the
they
reason why the government hacked Facebook accounts yesterday.
No,
At the
that's
same
why
thing.
they were vetting the guard. That's why they were vetting the National Guardsmen that was supposed to go down there and protect the president because of things like that. You have active people in that military going down and trying to overthrow the government. You have to vet them even more. You know, they took an oath to protect this country. They're going against it.
Mm.
Yeah, uh,
They
protect yourself at
self-serving.
all times.
Self-serving. They're not really for this country. They're for themselves.
Yeah, it's very sad. You would betray your like
Vigilantes.
that. It's very very sad. It said it's a lot of people in the military that feel this way that weren't down there, but they are active on bases all around the world. They feel this exact way, but again, they aren't here to do anything. They're overseas, other places, or they don't want to risk their career. But they'll be on message boards saying, "Oh yeah, I support this, I support that. Yeah, go ahead, go do that," and rooting for other people to do it, but don't want to do it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Those are cowards, and those are people that don't deserve the power that they hold.
No, absolutely not.
All
It's a
right.
disgrace.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Roy.
Oh, I was going to say, speaking on one of the last stories before we wrap this up from last time, the Chinese miners that were stuck in a gold mine, they have actually rescued 11 of the 22 miners. Now, last time they were just sending notes and medicine and stuff. Now they actually rescued 11 of them. So I'm
Oh,
glad
thank
that
God.
half out. Hopefully, get the other half out.
Oh,
Yeah, because that's definitely
that's scary.
that's definitely scary to be stuck somewhere and can't just get your daily needs as far as like nourishment, taking a bath, seeing your loved ones, and saying not even know where you're gonna ever good get out. So
Right.
yeah, so that's
Yeah,
a
It'll
that's a
drive you
big thing
crazy.
in itself. Yeah.
that's some wild, wild stuff. Like I said, I'm glad those people actually rescued. Yeah, let's wrap this one up.
All right, part two. Let's go.
All right.